regular meeting, and at this time, I will ask Commissioner McQuarrie to open us up with a word of prayer.
Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for the blessings you bestowed upon us and taking care of everyone during the Christmas holidays and flu and COVID and different things going around. So thanks for your blessing on that. Bless the first responders, Lord, out into the field that's taking care of our city and county. Bless this commission that will make the right decisions and do what you think is right and have our needs met with your help, and just ask your blessings to bless this commission. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, Commissioner McQuarrie. We will move on to hear the public. And then from there, we'll move on to approval of minutes. And that'll be approval of the minutes of the December 11th, 2023 regular meeting. And I'm sure each of you had an opportunity to look over those. And are there any questions or comments?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Powell to approve them as they're stated, and we have a second by Commissioner Williams. If there's no further discussion, we'll ask for a vote. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
And that motion carries. We'll move on to recognitions, and I believe one of the first we have is the Franklin Police Department, and Roger Sullivan will come and
Thank you, Mayor. At today's meeting, I'd like the City Commission to recognize a couple of our officers. First, I'd like to recognize Agent Seth Stewart and Major John Thompson, if y'all want to come on up. Recently, they completed their bachelor's degree from Indiana Tech. Both received their bachelor's of science degree in criminal justice. I want to say congratulations to both of them for working tirelessly through college while also helping to raise their family and to protect our community. So I included a certificate in your packet. All right. Secondly, I would like to also recognize our newly promoted Major, John Thompson. This is a position that is appointed by the Chief of Police. It is a budgeted item. John, in the middle of this month, will take over the operations side of the police department. Major Mayfield, he's going to move over to the administrative and investigative side. So his wife, Kira, is here today. I'm going to call her up. She's going to do a collar pinning ceremony and pin his collar brass on. He bought her flowers before she come in.
I was
So
going
we're
to
good.
say, that's brave, letting
Yeah.
your wife dig your neck.
Dozen
with a sharp
roses.
object.
People don't know, those are cardboard behind in the corner over here, so they're not easy to get on. So. I want to say we're proud of John Thompson for all his commitment to our agency, and I know the sky's the limit for what he's going to bring to us now in the future. So congratulations. And lastly, I know most of you are aware that John just completed the 288th session of the FBI National Academy. He's the first officer we've ever had attend the National Academy, so it's a big deal. He not only went up there and completed it, he slayed it while he was up there. So he's going to do about 5-minute PowerPoint presentation on his time up there. So forward to that.
Before I get into this, to be able to attend such a caliber training, I have to give thanks to the City of Franklin, as well as the Chief and the Major for even giving me the opportunity to be gone for 11 weeks. I'd like to also thank the other officers at the police department. Anytime, y'all know, anytime somebody is gone for training, they have to pick up extra duties or slack. And 11 weeks is a lot of time for somebody to pick up my slack while I was gone. So I appreciate it from all the other officers as well. And then most importantly, I'd like to thank my wife, because the whole time I was gone, I didn't get to come home on the weekends because it was in Quantico, Virginia. And she took care of our house and our 2 children. And so thank you for that, because I know that was tough. The training that I attended was the FBI National Academy. Our session was 288. It was located in Quantico, Virginia, and I was there from the end of September to the beginning of December. I could go on for a long time about what all this training entails. Don't have that kind of time today, so I'm just going to focus on to the 3 main concepts that this training really focuses on. And the first main concept is networking. Inside my class alone, there was 198 law enforcement officers that were represented 45 states out of 50 in the United States, as well as 24 countries around the world. They represented federal, state, and local, as well as tribal law enforcement agencies around the world. And this is the main point of this is to build connections. This covers departments over 1,000 officers to 100 plus, to 50 plus, to more of our size, and then even smaller. And it kind of just gets us experience from each level, as well as the connections to build off of each other and make each other better. So they really focus on networking. The second main value or core point is academics. While attending the FBI Academy, they are partnered with the or the University of Virginia, and you get to attend 6 classes while you're there. You have to as well. It's not, the first class, you don't get to pick yourself. It's something that is mandatory for every participant that's up there attending, and it's wellness and fitness and law enforcement. It's one of they really focus on, and I'll get into that more on the next few slides, but it's basically you work out and you have classroom work as well, and I'll get into that. The second one I was able to pick was behavioral science for law enforcement leaders. It just gets into why people make decisions or what goes behind what decisions are made, and maybe it helps us learn. It's more of a psychology type of class where maybe we can get into the inside of others' behaviors and things like that, and either counter it or mimic it if we need to. The third class was Concepts of Wellness, Vitality, and Resilience in Law Enforcement. This class was about the mental health of officers. Officers respond to a lot of incidents that can really cause issues later in their career. So this class focused on giving techniques for them to cope with that, and maybe hitting trainings before those incidents occur that can help limit mental health issues. The fourth class was Contemporary Issues in Police Media Relationships. This class was one of my favorites, to be honest, because it was the most awkward, and it really threw you out of your comfort zone. But before I get into that, it teaches you to build relationships with your local media and really utilize your social media as well to get with the public and build your connections with them. But the reason it was so uncomfortable is because you would be in the front of the room, they'd have a camera right in your face, and you'd be on a big screen for everybody to see in your class, and they would have people asking you questions. And so it was very, very awkward but needed. It was very, very well done. The fifth one was Breaking Barriers and Building Communities, and it is exactly what it says. I chose this class it gave you examples of things that we can do as a department to bridge the gap between us and the community, whether it be shop with the cop or other resources or things, trunk or treating, and we went over that we went over that quite a bit, and so that was a really good class. And the last one was Leading At-Risk Employees for Executives, which would be if early risk systems, if there's any bad behavior or things of that nature, it just helps us catch it and how to lead them or how to correct it with education. And the third, the third core that they really focused on was fitness and nutrition. This consisted of 3 to 4 mandatory workouts that was every week, depending on how your block fell. That is an actual picture of one of the gyms that we got to utilize while we were there. There were 4 gyms, a traditional weight room, a cardio room, things of that nature. And also focused on the connection between physical fitness and how it affects your mental health. People that are more physically fit tend to have a better mental health. You also had one weekly challenge happen on Wednesdays every week, where the whole session of 288 would get together, and if it's a more difficult task that you had to complete. It ended on the last week with the Yellow Brick Road, which I'll get into here in a sec, and that was a 6.1 mile run through an obstacle course. And you had a classroom version of this where you developed nutrition plans, workout plans, and you really focused on this kind of the science behind fitness and how it builds you up, mobility and all those issues to prolongs life. After that, that's our core values, so I'll rush through this. These are just some pictures that kind of give you all an idea of what my favorite parts were. And this is not my favorite part, but this was what I walked into on day one. The dorm that I lived in for 11 weeks with another grown man, and it was good experience, very good experience, but it was very small, very small. Not a lot of places to put your clothes, but this is one of my favorite workouts on Wednesday, a weekly challenge. We got to work out with the Wounded Warriors, and it was an eye-opening to see how awesome those individuals were. This is just another picture. If you can see here in the back, we ran those quite a bit. These are the yellow brick. The first one that's listed is what everybody gets an opportunity to get. You have to complete all the challenges on Wednesdays, as well as the Yellow Brick Road, the final challenge. 6.1 obstacle course through the woods. The second one was a personal goal. These are optional bricks that you do not have to go for, but these were what I wanted to attend on my downtime. The blue brick was a swim brick. You had to swim 34 miles while you attended this, so over the 10 weeks, 11 weeks. The black brick was my weightlifting brick. It's based on your body weight, but for me, I had to lift 700 pounds between bench press, squat, and deadlift to be able to get that brick and break 700 pounds between those three lifts. And the rolling brick was I had to row 34 miles while I was there on a rolling machine. And of course, my final brick was obtain 50 miles during your 11 weeks of off-time running or hiking or something along those lines. Well, there's the pool that I spent many hours in. It's indoor, so you were able to utilize it even if it was bad weather. It should be getting done here. These are just some pictures of Washington, D.C., the White House that we got to attend as a class. This was one of my favorite hikes. This is the Great Falls in Virginia. The picture does not do it justice. It was quite amazing to see in person. And this is, there we go. And there's one of my other hike that I liked, Shenandoah, is an 8 mile up the mountain. Just beautiful. This is George Washington's house in Mount Vernon. That's like, I believe it was like 85 or 90% steel original, the inside. So that was pretty nice to see. This is actually the tomb of George Washington where he still lays. If you look, you can actually see his tomb. This was the Holocaust Museum that we got to attend. I took that picture just because to me, it stands as a reminder to pay attention to history so we don't repeat it. So it's just something I like to see. I can get this working. I think there's only 3 more slides, but we're going backwards. Well, I don't want to take any more time. The last picture was just a graduation of us. But I really appreciate the opportunity. And if anyone has questions, I'll try to ask or answer.
How much weight did you lose?
How much weight? Actually, I gained 5 pounds while I was there. So my goal was I hit swimming awfully quick. So within the first 4 weeks, I had my 34 miles down. So I cut weight. Then after that, I started building again back in the gym. So at the end of it, I had gained. So.
Well, John, I just want to say that it's that we're very proud of you, and we're very proud of the efforts that you have made to attend the academy. And I want to tell you that I had the opportunity in 2006, my whole family, due to a close friend that I have in Quantico, that we got to tour the whole. I'm very familiar with it. We got to tour the whole Quantico operation. And it's something else.
Yes.
And again, we're just very proud of you and proud of the efforts that you have put into this for our community.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. From there, we will move on to wastewater treatment plant. And Tammy Carey's going to comment.
Well, I'm going to fill in for Trent Coffey today because he is a bit under the weather, but it is an honor for me to be able to recognize two of our employees. They're here with us today, Randy Moore and Eric Stratner. Randy actually has been with the city since 2005 and Eric since 2006. And as you know, their dedication and hard work with the city is just great. They do a great job for the city, so we thank them for that. But in early December, they traveled to Frankfurt, correct? And sat through a week-long training through the Kentucky Energy and Environmental Cabinet's wastewater treatment class, and then they took a test, which those are the dreaded things, especially at our age. You say test and we just go, oh no. But they sat through the class, took the test, and proud to say that they both passed it. The class exam helps to ensure that operators that are in charge of dealing with community wastewater are knowledgeable and capable of handling the responsibilities required by their positions. Eric passed his Class 3 Kentucky Wastewater Treatment Exam, and Randy passed his Class 1 Kentucky Wastewater Treatment Exam. So I'd like to recognize them, say congratulations, and thank you for your
Thank you, Tammy. And guys, thank you all for the work and the efforts that you have put in for our wastewater treatment to help make our water and all that better for our community. Thank you.
Mayor,
Sure.
let me say something real quickly. For John and Eric and Rio Grande. I want to say thank you, because obviously, being in law enforcement and working in the municipality, for what you do to extend your knowledge and go further, it seems like it's more than just a job you go to every day. And Kenton and for all these programs that set up for you guys to make advancements and then even making additional little money, we appreciate you so much. I see people in the community and they always say that, look like the city is running real well. And I really feel that is extremely true. But, we make the decision, but you gotta do the work. And so I just want to let you know that we appreciate you, because you definitely make what we do easy with our decisions. Because, sometimes people complain about spending additional money, but we want to make sure that we give you guys what you need to get the job done. Because obviously, once again, when people brag, it means you guys are able to do your work that you do it efficiently, and you make us look good. So don't think for 1 second that we don't appreciate what you do. Okay, I just want to let you know how much we really do appreciate that. You're welcome.
And with that being said, you're welcome to stay. We have to, but if you all want to leave, you're welcome to leave.
Thank you, Commissioner Stewart. Thank you, guys, again. Thank you.
Take care of it. Good job, good job.
Congratulations. No,
Okay.
Congratulations, that's
Good
great.
stuff. Thank you, John.
From here, we will move on to community services. And first will be discussion and a possible action regarding the 2024 Franklin, Kentucky newsletter. And I think Megan is here to speak to us on that. So Megan, you can have the platform.
So we have finished our 7th edition of the Franklin, Kentucky newsletter. And it's a publication that we put out that highlights all of our major projects that we worked on throughout the year. And we work closely with the department heads to make those decisions. And we will be using the water and sewer customers list to mail these out, so everybody will get a copy in our community. And so you have a copy of the mailer letter as well as the newsletter. And what I'm looking for is any comments or feedback before we move forward with pushing the letter forward.
I think Megan's done a really good job of
Oh,
putting
yeah.
that together.
Yeah.
I want to congratulate her on that, and if anyone has any comments or questions, feel free
I think
to.
this is a wonderful thing, Dale and I was talking earlier about people coming to the meetings. We film these meetings, and not a lot of people show up, and I think a lot of that is not only because we do filming, but I think with this newsletter, and especially with the position that you have with PR and getting things out to the community, it's so vital. So this is wonderful. So just keep doing what you're doing. I think it's great.
Thank you.
What's the timing on Megan and getting this out to the public?
Yes, so if everything looks okay, we're ready to move forward. Our hope is that it will actually be out in the mail the last week of January, and we're on schedule to do that.
That's good, that's good.
And again, I think it's just really good that we do this, because it lets our taxpayers and the public know where their money's going and the city, what the city is doing. So, Megan, thank you for.
How often does these go out? Just once a year? Once a year?
Once a
It's
year.
annual, yes.
Okay, just annual. Okay.
Usually the beginning of the year.
Yeah, as she mentioned, this is our 7th. It's amazing that, I can't believe it's been that many, but this is our 7th consecutive years of doing
That's
this.
good, yeah. That's fantastic. Well, and I know you guys being, you put over two.
I think it's a great collaboration because so many of the department heads have their own projects, and this is a way of getting them all in one place. And
Real good. And you too, John. Thank you.
Hey, this is all my.
Okay.
okay.
Yes, this speaks great.
Good,
Okay.
All right,
Yeah,
thank you.
thank you.
Thank you, Megan.
Put them in the mail.
Okay, moving on to, under Community Services, will be discussion and a possible action regarding the Hoy Park deed restrictions, and I think Tammy's going to speak to us on that.
Yes, sir. Well, after 4 long, very, very long years, I am so excited to say that the Hoyt Park project is complete. I will say, we do have a few finishing touches. We want to put some signage up, do a little landscaping. But as far as the grant project goes, we are finished. Our final grant reimbursement request has been submitted, and all the closeout documentation made it to Frankfurt before the end of the year. With that, the Department of Local Government requires a deed restriction be filed to protect the property. And once I received that, I just immediately forwarded it on to Scott, and he has reviewed that, and he can jump in and answer any questions that you may have or add to the comments.
It's a book, but it's okay. So, it's not optimal, but they require it, and so all in all, I'm fine with it. We will need a motion to authorize the mayor to sign the documents.
And that motion is to make a motion to authorize the deed restrictions for Hoy Park as presented, and authorize the mayor to
I
sign.
make that motion, Mayor.
We have a motion by Commissioner Stewart. We have a motion by Commissioner McQuarrie. Any further discussion or comments? If not, all in favor, aye. Aye. Okay. Any opposition? That motion carries unanimously.
Mayor, I just like, we talked about having probably a ribbon cutting in the spring when everything is kind of greened up, so it's kind of more of a formal opening,
Okay,
so that'd be coming up soon, I guess.
that sounds good. We'll get to introduce it then. Okay, thank you, Kenton. Okay, moving on will be discussion and a possible action regarding collection of unclaimed property, and Carol Riggenbach is going to speak to us on that.
You missed one, Mayor, about the appointment of the P&Z Board of Adjustments.
So, we'll go back.
And the joint meeting.
Oh, the joint meeting,
Joint meeting.
I missed that one.
I'll just go ahead and jump in there. There's a memo for a joint meeting. I think we pretty much confirmed that we have a January the 16th at 12 noon. It's a special call joint meeting, and there you can see the email. We were just looking for copies, because the copies have got to be very specifically defined. And I attached the email from Mason Barnes, and where we talked about a comprehensive plan. There's a fire department funding, planning and zoning regs, and industrial authority, which I kind of wanted to keep that out there and kind of get a consensus on what we can agree we can cover. I did talk to Judge Executive Barnes this morning on the fire department, because we had that discussion our last meeting, and basically, what he wanted on there is if we wanted to consider going full-time or whatever, what it would take to get on the ballot. That was kind of his reasoning of that discussion, because there's a lot of different milestones that's got to be hit and put together. So that's why I wanted to communicate to the commission is why that was on there, and that's kind of the feedback that I received. Now, the industrial authority, there's a lot of moving parts in there, and I would think that we have an industrial authority meeting Wednesday, but I was just thinking that maybe this would be a better opportunity, the next industrial board meeting in February, that we meet with them, their board, and make a recommendation to the board first before we talk about with the county. So that was something I talked to Scott Crabtree, you see agreements, and maybe that would be a better alternative than talk about it prematurely in the joint meeting. So I just wanted to throw those things out to the commission for you to consider. So I guess I'll open it up for dialogue. Just remember the comprehensive plan, we were just going to present the comprehensive plan. No action, but probably, we're looking at probably 30 minutes presentation, Q&A, we're looking at 45 minutes, basically discussion. So that's going to chew up a big portion of the meeting. So, and obviously I feel that the planning and zoning regs, probably we need to dive into that, because we're at a roadblock there basically on some things as far as direction. So with those two topics, there's a lot to talk about. So, but here again, I kind of wanted to see where the commission wanted us to lead as far as what we think we can cover. And also just remember that we have another joint meeting, regular meeting in March, so.
So what you need?
Well, I think, down the agenda, I think the comprehensive plan is a given. I feel the industrial authority, this is something that we need to discuss at the industrial authority meeting first, which is a meeting in February. That kind of moves that off, but then we still have, the fire department and planning and zoning regs. To me, I think we just need to narrow down the agenda to make sure there's just a lot of discussion.
I think the mayor should dictate this one, just my opinion.
Well, my thoughts would be that we would do the EHI comprehensive plan. That's, as Kenton just said, that's going to take some time and discussion. And I think, personally, I'm thinking more of an hour if we, on that.
Very easily.
Yeah, easily. And then I also think that, if planning and zoning, I think that those two topics would be a full agenda for that day. That's my thoughts on it. Now, I'm open to the commission. We'll have a March meeting, and I think if the March meeting will be, I think would be a more appropriate time to talk about the fire department and the industrial authority agreement.
So, I'm sorry, go ahead, Dale.
I have a question, Scott. We've discussed this a lot. I think we've all agreed that the fire department future, if it goes to a ballot, I think we're all pretty much in agreement. It's up to the voters. With that said, will it matter this meeting or March to even affect that decision on the next election?
Well, I guess it could, but I don't know how I can answer that, because I don't know who's working on the ballot proposal. That's a pretty detailed thing that you're gonna have to put together, which is not only the question that goes on the ballot, are you for proposal X or not?
Right.
But who's putting together the proposal? I think that question can be answered without a meeting. If they're putting something together, I can't imagine they're in position to bring that to us
Right.
next week.
You answered my question.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna go with whatever the mayor decides to do.
but I understand where you're going, and if that's where he's headed, if he just, I mean, if it was fire department funding, of course, we just talked about that, but with it being a proposal to put on the ballot, yeah, we do need to discuss that, but I don't know how far they've come with that, so. Sorry, I
Okay.
didn't really answer your question, but I tried to.
So, we're having this meeting the 16th, next, the 16th?
Week from Tuesday.
Week from
Yes,
tomorrow.
next week.
Okay, the 16th on Tuesday. What is it, since we, our quarterly meeting in March, what is it pressing as to the reason we have to have this meeting in January and then another in March? I know we need to probably need to roll out the,
Comprehensive plan.
comprehensive plan. I get that. I get that. I just, you know, I just, you know, timing and how long it takes to be able to work out whatever we need to work out, you know, time is not an issue. But I don't want to set in a meeting Monday, Tuesday for 3 hours, and then in March, go back and set another meeting for 3 hours, and regurgitate the same thing, going over and around and about, in and out. I don't want to do that. I just do not want to do that. You know, I want it to be productive, and hopefully we can come up with something. So, I don't know, I mean, is it outside of the rollout of the comprehensive plan? The other stuff can wait.
I think we're, from a planning and zoning regs, there's some, you know,
Okay.
we just need some decision on direction as far as, and that's,
So that's something that needs to be addressed as soon as possible. Okay. I mean, I'm just trying to figure this out, you know, because I mean, you know, I don't.
From everything that's been happening, yes, they probably do need some direction, sooner rather than later with planning and zoning. And of course, the plan was, and I don't want to speak for Kenton, but the plan was on the comprehensive plan, roll it out, but no decision's really gonna be made. Just kind of explain it.
Right.
And then we can go back to, y'all can come here and they can go to their meeting to pass it unless there's more questions, then we may have to put it back on for March.
Okay.
But, I mean, let's be realistic, that's only 6 weeks, you know, roughly, so I mean, it's not like it's that far until our next meeting, so.
Yeah, so what I'm hearing is the comprehensive plan and, direction on the plan and zoning regs and let the other two go over
That's,
to March.
you all have to
That would
tell
be my,
us,
that would be my suggestion.
Suggestion.
you all have to tell us that.
Well,
That's what I'm in favor of, Mayor.
Sounds like there's 3 that say that, 4, Herbert's nodding, 5, okay. All of you agree then to say send back planning and zoning and comprehensive
And
plan?
comprehensive plan.
and I think those two are gonna take, that's gonna take a lot,
At least-
several,
yes,
I mean,
yes.
good bit of
It
time.
could
And I
be
think
3
those
hours.
two alone at this point in time is enough to, you know.
But it's very important,
Scott, do we need to ask for a motion, or are we all, we're all in agreement? We're
I
all,
think we just send it to.
Our
Mason.
portion of the agenda can be set either by the mayor himself or by a majority of the commission, and you have both. That's what you proposed, and everybody's agreed, so we're good.
okay, all right. And, sorry, Kenton, I'm sorry that I got ahead of that a little bit. We'll,
quite all right.
okay, well, next on the agenda will be discussion and a possible action regarding appointment to the P and Z Board of Adjustments, and Kenton will speak to that.
Yes,
And that's on
we
page
have,
44.
Right, I guess the week of Christmas, I sat down with Kenneth Utley, and he agreed to serve as he was appointed to serve a 4-year term on the Board of Adjustments, so that term would expire on 12/31/27. So the proposed motion is to recommend and approve the appointment of Kenneth Utley to the Planning and Zoning Board of Adjustment for a 4-year term to expire on 12/31/2017.
I'll make that motion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'll make that motion, Mike.
We have a motion by Commissioner Powell,
Can you second?
second by Commissioner Stewart.
I second.
Is there any discussion? Comments? If not, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Is any opposition? That motion carries unanimously. Okay, moving on to discussion and a possible action regarding collection of unclaimed property, and now Carol will bring that to us.
Well, thank you, Mayor. So Scott pointed out to me a month or so ago that we had unclaimed property with the state, like total of 7 different vendor payments, so it's about $2,900. So I've put in our claim, but I need a letter from the mayor saying that I'm authorized to pursue that on behalf of the city. So I've attached the other documents in the letter there that we would need signed. So I'm just asking the commission to authorize me to claim that unclaimed property and the mayor to sign the letter of authorization and any other paperwork we might need.
You've heard the motion.
Make a motion, Mayor.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner McQuarrie,
I'll second, Mayor.
second by Commissioner Stewart. Any further discussion? Comment? Okay, all in favor, aye? Aye. And that motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Carol.
Thank you.
Okay, just moving on to discussion and a possible action regarding the 2024 HIDUS subward agreement. And Roger, I think, is going to bring that to us.
Kathy put this memo together. In your package, you also have the actual agreement. This is the 5th year the Franklin Police Department will receive this award as their participation with the South Central Kentucky Drug Task Force. The overtime allocation totals $38,000 now, which is $19,000 each for 2 agents, 2 officers on the Drug Task Force. This allocation will actually be monitored and tracked by the director, Jackie Hunt, and submitted to the Finance Department for documentation purposes. So the proposed action is to enter into the 2024 Appalachian HIDA subaward agreement and authorize the mayor to sign the agreement and any other necessary documents required for participation in the subaward program.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Williams,
Second.
a second by Commissioner Powell. Any further discussion? Comments? All in favor, aye? Aye. And that motion carries unanimously. Thank you. And moving on, under general government will be discussion and a possible action regarding proposed ordinance rezoning property or located on Cemetery Street and McGoodwin Avenue from R1 to R2, and Scott will present that to us, and that's on page 65.
Yes, sir. There are, in your packet, is the recommendations for planning and zoning. It's a small tract of land that lies between the cemetery and the Goodwin. It actually has 3 lots that they're proposing to put duplex instead of single family. Again, it was unanimously approved by planning and zoning, and if the commission finds it appropriate, we'll need 2 sponsors for that ordinance. You've got me, Powell, and Williams. Thank you all, and we'll have first reading in the ordinance section.
Okay. And continuing on under general government will be discussion and possible action regarding proposed ordinance adopting S-6 supplement to Code of Ordinances, and that's on page 79.
I'll take that, Mayor.
And Kathy.
Thank you. We've got a proposed ordinance. We're required to adopt an ordinance to adopt our codification of ordinances. This is the 6th supplement that we've had just since I came to work here. This is probably one of the most comprehensive updates we've had, as it includes 18 months of ordinances, which, as you can see, there are several. We did 27 ordinances in 2022, and last year we did 38. And the majority of those were land use ordinances, which means they were zone changes, annexations, or reg amendments. So I'll need 2 sponsors for the proposed ordinance, and we'll have first reading.
Jamie and Wendell.
Okay, you've got them.
We keep breaking our previous year's ordinance record every year. This little town seems to keep growing, so.
Kathy, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, from there, we will move on to public services. Nothing under that. Public safety. Utilities. Okay, from there, we'll move on to ordinances, and again, Kathy Dillard will bring those to us. And
All right, Mayor, thank you. We'll have second summary reading today of ordinance number 2023-039, an ordinance to close the public portion of a 0.270 acre tract, more or less, of Grace Court from Lawrence Street to Finn Street. And I will need a first and second motion for approval.
So moved.
So moved by Commissioner Powell,
Second.
second by Commissioner Williams, and we'll have a roll call vote on that.
Commissioner Stewart,
Yes.
Commissioner McCrary,
Yes.
Mayor Dixon.
Yes.
Commissioner Williams,
Yes.
Commissioner Powell,
Yes.
and that ordinance passes unanimously. Move on into first summary reading of ordinance number 2024-001, an ordinance enacting and adopting a supplement to the Code of Ordinances of the City of Franklin, Kentucky. Then we will move on into first summary reading of ordinance number 2024-002, an ordinance rezoning 3 lots located on Cemetery Street and the Goodwin Avenue from R1 Single Family Residential to R2 Single Family and 2 Family Residential District by B Properties LLC. This concludes first and or second summary reading of these ordinances. The full text is available at City Hall at the office of the city clerk during normal business hours and will be available on the city's website upon passage and publication.
Thank you very much, Kathy. Okay, that finishes our ordinances, and from here we'll move into executive session, and under executive session, personnel, and that will be discussion or hearings which might lead to the appointment, discipline, or dismissal of an individual employee or member, and that's under KRS 61810-1F. Also, under executive session will be business, and that will be discussion between a public agency and a representative of a business entity concerning a specific proposal where open discussions would jeopardize the siting, retention, expansion, or upgrading of the business, and that's under KRS 61810-1G, and I will need a motion to go into executive session.
So moved, Mayor.
Motion by Commissioner
Mayor.
motion by Commissioner Williams,
Second.
second by Commissioner Powell. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
And we now come out of executive session, and we also, coming out, we have a motion to come before the commission.
Yes, sir. We need to, we have an employee that has effectively abandoned her job. We have not heard from her since December 21st. So we will need a motion to terminate Jessica Van Cleve for job abandonment as an operator with the city wastewater treatment plant effective immediately.
Do I have a motion?
So moved, Mayor.
We have a motion by Commissioner Stewart. Do I hear a second?
Second, Mayor.
A second by Commissioner Williams. Any further comment? Questions? All in favor? Aye. Aye. And that motion carries unanimously.
And I
And-
have no report.
Okay, we will move on then to city manager reports. No report. Okay, we'll move on to city commission reports, and I'll start with Commissioner Stewart.
I don't have any,
Okay.
Mayor. Thank you.
Commissioner McQuarrie?
No, sir, thank you.
Okay. Commissioner Williams?
No, I don't have anything, Mayor.
Commissioner Powell?
I'd like to send my condolences out to the Taylor family and to the Whitworth family and to all the others that's lost loved ones over the holidays. And with that, I make a motion, we adjourn.
We have a motion by Commissioner Powell to adjourn. Do I have a second?
I second that, Will.
Second.
Thank you to Jamie for bringing that drink around. Thank you, Jamie. Yes, I second.